Did you hear that? The sound echoed through the empty halls, a whisper carried by the wind. It was as if the house itself was alive, breathing, waiting. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the curtains seemed to tell a story of its own. The air was thick with anticipation, and the shadows danced on the walls, creating eerie shapes that played tricks on the mind. Who's there? The question hung in the air, unanswered. The room was empty, but the feeling of being watched was undeniable. Outside, the forest stood silent, the trees like sentinels guarding secrets long forgotten. The twilight cast long shadows, and the silence was almost deafening. It was a silence that spoke volumes, a silence that hinted at the presence of something unseen, something lurking just beyond the edge of perception. "Stop it! This isn't funny!" The fear was palpable, a cold hand gripping the heart. The flickering light in the alleyway cast eerie shadows, making the darkness seem alive. Every flicker, every movement in the corner of the eye added to the growing sense of dread. It was a fear that gnawed at the edges of sanity, a fear that whispered of things best left unseen. "I've been waiting for you." The voice was soft, almost a whisper, but it carried a weight that was impossible to ignore. The silhouette in the mist was barely visible, a figure emerging from the shadows like a ghost from the past. It was a presence that felt both familiar and alien, a presence that seemed to know every secret, every hidden fear. The mist swirled around, obscuring the figure, but the feeling of being watched remained. What the... The abandoned house stood like a sentinel, its broken windows like empty eyes staring into the soul. The foggy graveyard added to the sense of desolation, the tombstones like silent witnesses to the passage of time. It was a place that seemed to exist outside of reality, a place where the past and present intertwined in a dance of shadows and whispers. No, this isn't happening. The denial was a desperate attempt to cling to sanity, to push away the encroaching darkness. The haunted house interior was a maze of shadows and echoes, each corner hiding a new terror. The feeling of being trapped, of being hunted, was overwhelming. It was a nightmare come to life, a place where reality and illusion blurred into one. "I see you." The glowing eyes in the dark were like beacons of malevolence, watching, waiting. The shadow moving in the background was a constant reminder of the unseen presence, a presence that seemed to be everywhere and nowhere at once. It was a game of cat and mouse, a game where the stakes were life and death. The feeling of being watched, of being hunted, was inescapable. "Get away from me!" The flight was a desperate bid for freedom, a race against the encroaching darkness. The creepy forest path at night was a labyrinth of shadows and whispers, each step echoing with the sound of pursuit. The fear was a constant companion, a cold hand gripping the heart. It was a race against time, a race against the unseen terror that lurked in the shadows. "They say it's haunted, you know." The old mansion stood like a monument to forgotten times, its walls whispering secrets of the past. The overgrown cemetery added to the sense of foreboding, the tombstones like silent sentinels guarding the dead. It was a place steeped in history, a place where the past and present coexisted in a dance of shadows and light. The stories of hauntings, of restless spirits, seemed all too real in the eerie silence. "Yeah, right. Just a bunch of kids' stories." "Okay, that's creepy." The campfire flickered, casting long shadows on the faces of the kids. The stories they told were a mix of myth and reality, tales of ghosts and ghouls that seemed to come alive in the flickering light. The abandoned playground added to the sense of unease, the rusted swings and broken slides like relics of a forgotten time. The laughter and chatter of the kids were a stark contrast to the eerie silence of the night. "Let's just go. Stay and play forever." The invitation was both enticing and terrifying, a promise of eternal play in a place where time stood still. The dark woods with fog added to the sense of mystery, the trees like silent sentinels guarding the secrets of the past. The creepy old playground at dusk was a place where reality and illusion blurred, a place where the past and present coexisted in a dance of shadows and light. "Hello?" The question echoed through the empty hallway, a plea for connection in a place of isolation. The overgrown garden path added to the sense of abandonment, the plants like silent witnesses to the passage of time. It was a place where the past and present coexisted, a place where the echoes of the past whispered through the shadows. Who is this? The flickering candle cast long shadows on the walls, the light a beacon in the darkness. The dark, empty street was a place of isolation, a place where the shadows seemed to come alive. The question was a plea for understanding, a plea for connection in a place of isolation. The feeling of being watched, of being hunted, was inescapable. You can't hide. The shadowy figure lurking in the darkness was a constant reminder of the unseen presence, a presence that seemed to be everywhere and nowhere at once. The eyes peering through the darkness were like beacons of malevolence, watching, waiting. It was a game of cat and mouse, a game where the stakes were life and death. The feeling of being watched, of being hunted, was inescapable. "Stop it! This isn't funny!" The fear was palpable, a cold hand gripping the heart. The haunted house exterior at night was a place of shadows and whispers, a place where the past and present coexisted in a dance of light and dark. The feeling of being watched, of being hunted, was inescapable. Subscribe to our channel